serious about becoming wealthy is not a mindset. It is not a vision board or a relationship with abundance or a morning affirmation about financial freedom. It is 9 specific daily and weekly behaviors that either run in your life right now or they don't. And the gap between where you are and where the wealth content always promises you could be is almost entirely explained by which of these 9 habits are running and which are absent. The performance of being serious about money is widespread. The actual behaviors are not. Most people who describe themselves as working toward wealth are working toward the idea of wealth, consuming content about it, thinking seriously about it, maintaining the intention of getting serious about it at a more convenient time. The 9 habits are not ideas. They are actions. They either happen this week or they don't. And whether they happen this week determines whether the wealth compounds this year or waits for the version of you who finally stops describing the intention and starts running the behavior. Bruce Wayne was not serious about building Gotham's protector in the abstract. He was serious in the specific, daily, unglamorous sense, in the actions that happened in rooms no one saw, that produced no visible result for years, that compounded into something the daylight eventually ran on. 9 habits, the ones that actually build wealth. Here's everyone. Habit 1. Know your number. Net worth calculated monthly. Everything owned minus everything owed. Written down, dated, tracked. The man who knows his number makes different decisions than the man who approximates his position. Every financial decision made without the number is made against a feeling rather than a fact. Feelings are consistently more flattering than facts. The number corrects the flattery and makes the direction of every decision visible. Wealthy people know their number, not approximately, precisely. Calculate it this week. Habit 2. Pay the future before the present. A fixed percentage of every income event moves automatically to a separate account before the spending account receives a balance. Not what remains after the month. What leaves before the month begins. The automation removes the daily decision and the daily temptation. What consistently leaves before spending begins consistently compounds. What relies on the monthly intention to save what remains consistently does not. Install the automation this week at the startable amount. Scale it as the income grows. The habit is the architecture. The amount is the fuel. Habit 3. Invest consistently and leave it alone. On the same date every month, the same amount moves to a broadly diversified, low-cost investment position. Not when the market looks favorable. Not when the news is reassuring. The same date, the same amount, every month. The primary determinant of long-term investment return for ordinary investors is not timing or selection. It is consistency of contribution across time and the discipline to not interrupt the compounding when the interruption feels rational. Consistency is the strategy. Leave it alone is the discipline. Both are required. Habit 4. Raise the earning capacity alongside managing what is earned. Wealth is not built through frugality applied to a fixed income. It is built through the combination of increasing income and disciplined allocation of that income. Every year, one investment in the skills, knowledge, or positioning that increases the rate at which income arrives, not instead of managing the current income alongside it. The skill that raises income by a meaningful percentage annually produces more compound wealth than the same percentage saved from a static income. Build both tracks simultaneously. Stay with habits 5 through 9. The first 4 build and direct the income. What comes next protects, compounds, and sustains it. And habit 8 is the one that most people who are genuinely serious about becoming wealthy identify as the single most impactful shift they made when the intention finally became behavior. Habit 5. Protect the downside before pursuing the upside. Emergency fund covering several months of essential expenses. Insurance against the specific risks of the current life stage. No single point of financial failure. The wealthy take risk from protected positions. A protected position means that when the bad event arrives, and it arrives for everyone, it is absorbed rather than catastrophic. Every investment position built without the downside protection is one bad event from being reset. The protection is not competing with the growth. It is the condition under which the growth survives contact with reality. Habit 6. Review the financial position monthly in 15 minutes. Net worth updated. Investment performance noted. Gap between current position and the 12-month target measured. The review does not need to produce a decision. It needs to produce visibility. A financial position reviewed monthly is correctable when it drifts. A financial position reviewed annually has drifted for 11 months before the correction was available. Wayne ran diagnostics on every system consistently. The monthly review is the diagnostic. What is not reviewed drifts. What drifts costs more to correct than what was caught early. Habit 7. Apply the assets before upgrades rule to every income increase. Every raise, every bonus, every windfall, the first allocation decision is made before the money arrives and before lifestyle inflation can absorb it. A pre-decided percentage of every income increase goes directly to the investment position before the spending balance knows it exists. Lifestyle inflation is the primary mechanism through which higher incomes produce identical financial positions to lower ones. The pre-decision interrupts the mechanism before it fires. Made once, applied to every subsequent increase, it compounds through every income improvement for the rest of the career. Habit 8. Think in decades. Every financial decision is evaluated against its 10-year outcome, not its 12-month feeling. The asset that looks expensive today but compounds across a decade. The frugality decision that produces no visible result in a year but transforms the position in 10. The skill investment that reduces current spending power but multiplies future earning. The 10-year frame is not aspirational thinking. It is the specific cognitive shift that produces decisions that compound rather than decisions that circulate. Every wealthy person is operating on a longer time horizon than the people around them. Install the horizon before installing anything else. Habit 9. Build one income stream that does not require your direct hourly presence to generate a return, not passive income in the aspirational content sense. A single, small, real thing that produces some return without requiring you to be physically present in the specific hour it generates it. A rented asset, a digital product, a position that pays a return. The amount is initially irrelevant. The structural principle is not. A man with one income stream is one event away from zero. A man with two has a floor. The second stream started from stability without desperation, with time for it to develop, is categorically different from the second stream, started in response to a crisis. Build it before the crisis. Wayne diversified before the diversification was urgent. Same principle. You came into this expecting 9 habits that confirm you are on the right track, or identify 1 or 2 additions to an already functioning financial life. The habits either run or they don't. There is no partially running version that produces partial wealth. A man who intellectually agrees with all 9 and runs 2 of them is a man running 2 of them. The wealth produced by 9 habits running is not 9 times the wealth produced by 2 habits running. It is categorically different, because the habits interact and compound on each other in ways that partial implementation cannot replicate. The seriousness about becoming wealthy is demonstrated by which habits are running today, not by which habits are understood or agreed with or planned for Monday. Run the habits, all 9. The seriousness is in the running. Tonight, identify the 3 habits from this list that are most structurally absent from your current financial life. Not the most impressive 3 to add. The 3 whose absence is most specifically explaining the gap between the current position and where serious about wealth would have you by now. Write them as behaviors when they happen, what they require, what specifically changes tonight, not a plan, an installation. The net worth calculated before sleep, the automation amount decided and scheduled. The 10-year frame applied to the next financial decision that arrives. 3 installations. Tonight, before Monday, before the more convenient time that never becomes the right time. Wayne built the position through years of daily unglamorous action in rooms no one watched. The seriousness was not in the intention. It was in the running of the habits when no one was there to validate the running. 9 habits running without an audience is the definition of serious about becoming wealthy. Run them tonight. Serious about becoming wealthy means 9 habits running, not 9 habits understood. The gap between understanding them and running them is the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Close it tonight. Note, this video covers general financial habits and principles only. It is not financial advice. Your specific financial situation requires your own research and, where appropriate, guidance from a qualified financial professional. 1 question. Which of the 9 habits, name the number, is most specifically absent from your financial life right now? That absence is the gap. Drop the number in the comments. Then install that habit tonight, not Monday, tonight. The seriousness is in the running. If this separated being serious about wealth from performing seriousness about it, subscribe. More of this. Run the habits. The wealth follows the running.